Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. We're back for part 2 of 3 spruce trees, and we're going to be digging my large spruce tree out of the pre-bonsai garden. Digging a tree up from the ground always starts with the container that you're going to put the tree in. There's no point collecting a tree with a root spread this wide if it has to go into a container this size. So you might as well dig out the size of the root base to match your container. The container I'll be using is a plastic tub, and I drilled lots of holes in the bottom for drainage. So we'll head out now to the front garden and have a look at the tree. So here we are with our tree. So you can see about the size of the rectangle I'll be digging around the base of the tree. Same size as the container. I'm going to start by cleaning up the area around the base of the tree, weeding it, getting rid of all these wood chips, and cleaning up the surface so I can see where to dig. I'm just coming in here with my 3-prong root rake and cleaning up the surface of the soil, removing any grass that's growing up and any weeds. Pre-bonsai trees should ideally be dug up every 1 or 2 years and root pruned and put back in the ground. I haven't done that with this tree, and I'll probably be sorry I didn't, because my root base will be probably quite wide. There's some nice flared surface roots down here, so it'll be important to get those out and keep them alive. The reason I'm digging the tree up now is that the buds are just starting to break on the top of the tree, and they're about to break down below also in a few days. So it's a good time to dig the tree up when it just starts to become active like this and starts to grow. I've got the area at the base of the tree all cleared out of weeds and debris, so I'm ready now to start digging my square trench around the tree. Using my container, I'm going to lay out the outside perimeter of my root ball, somewhere about here. So I'll start digging. I'm remembering now that when I planted this tree, it was surrounded by rocks. It was sort of on top of a rocky hill, and I've dug out all these huge rocks around it now. The compost builds up every year, and these all got buried in the ground. So it did a good thing. It kept the root system compact. So I'm feeling how the tree's wiggling. You can see it's starting to loosen up in the ground, but there must be some deep roots that I gotta sever down below. I've got the front dug out of the tree, so now I'm going in and severing these roots that are growing down into the ground, that are going straight down. So I'm just coming in with the shovel and severing all those tap roots, keeping my nice radial roots growing around the tree. I'm at the point now where the tree is quite loose in the ground. I can wiggle it around quite easily. There's just a few small roots holding it in place. Let me see if I can get it out. There we go. It's out. The next stage will be to wash all the roots and see what we've got. I've got the tree back in the bonsai area in my tub of water. I'm just cleaning out some of the old soil here. I'm going to bare root it. There is a large taproot on the bottom. Well, there's a few, I guess. One here, here. That I'm going to have to saw off to fit it in the pot and to keep it in this tub of water properly. So I'll do a bit of cleaning first. This is a good time to dig the tree up. You can see the roots have no new white growth on them. It's all from last year. So the roots haven't become active yet. So all the energy from winter that's stored up from last summer is in the trunk of the tree, and it's growing out new foliage. Once that new foliage comes out, it starts supplying energy back to the tree, and it'll start growing the roots. Because this tree has been in the ground, it has a lot of energy right now, and it's very strong. So if I do root pruning, I should do it fairly severely, because this is the best chance to do it, because it has all that energy in the tree. Once it goes into a bonsai pot or a training pot, it has less energy than if the tree was in the ground. So I'm going to start by cutting off some of these roots that are growing straight down. So So I'm going to come in here and start to saw. There we go, there's one. Let's keep washing the roots to see where we're cutting. Getting off that soil so we're not cutting through stones, and try and keep our tools as sharp as possible. So there's another root here I'm going to have to cut. We'll go horizontally right across here. So not a great root base on it, but not the worst in the world either. If we can get this to live, we can slowly develop a nice set of radial roots. I'll see how that fits in the pot. I'll do a test fitting. Okay, so here goes. So we're a little wide with our roots still, but I've got the tree in the pot, so I'm gonna prune back these roots now so it actually fits in the pot. Removing any roots that are growing straight up and trimming back some of the longer ones. I think that'll do it. I'm going to cut a mesh screening for the bottom of the pot so the soil doesn't go out the holes. There we go. Next, I'll put a layer of soil on the bottom of the pot, and then we'll fit the tree on top. A container this size takes a lot of soil. Hopefully I'll have enough. If not, I'll have to mix up a new batch and use that also. I'm holding my breath so I don't have to breathe this dust in. I've got the tree now, so let's get it planted. I think I'll put it in about there. I may have to chop off this root on the bottom so it's a little lower so I get all these surface roots safely under the soil. So I think I will. I'll cut off that bottom root. I made quite a saw cut on the bottom, removing that big thick root that was growing downwards. So now the tree will sit nicely in the pot. So I can begin filling it in with soil. I'm making sure the tree's vertical. I don't have quite enough soil to fill the pot up, so I'll give the tree a water, and I'll have to mix up some more soil and top it up. So let's water the tree now to keep this roots nice and moist. I'll keep this tree in the greenhouse until it recovers, and hopefully it will. I'll mix up some more soil now so I can level the container. The planting height of the tree looks good. All the roots are safely in the soil. I'll water the tree thoroughly, and I won't fertilize the tree until I'm sure it's recovered and is growing. So I probably won't fertilize it for at least a month and maybe 2 months. That's all the work on our pre-bonsai spruce today. We got it out of the garden and into a bonsai training pot. I'm going to leave the tree in the greenhouse here for the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's protected from the wind and it gets nice light. It's not too bright. I installed a shade netting on the greenhouse to keep the light intensity down. Here's a view of the inside of the greenhouse, and I'll show you the shade netting up there. It just cuts the light down by probably 15 to 20%, and it gives a nice bright light in the greenhouse, but it's not too intense, and it keeps the temperature down also. Here's the shade cloth from the outside. It's just a clear plastic with a woven fabric bonded to it. And it's got loopholes to tie it down so I can remove it from the top of the greenhouse if I want to. It's time now for today's update. Today's update is my Norway maple bonsai. This tree was repotted this spring, and the leaves are just coming in beautifully. They're nice and small, nice and green, look really healthy. To control that burst of spring growth, there's 2 ways you can do that. One is by letting the tree get pot bound, so it just doesn't get enough water and fertilizer to the roots to give a really big burst of growth in spring. The other way is through root pruning. This tree was root pruned this spring. I did quite a severe root pruning. I probably reduced the root mass took about 2/3 off of the roots. And I did a lot of selective pruning to raise the base of the tree up. You can see roots being pruned off here. And what that does, by pruning the roots like that, it takes some of the vigor out of the tree. So in spring, when the leaves come out, the tree doesn't have as much vigor because you've taken it out of the roots. So your spring growth comes in nice and compact. It doesn't shoot out with great big long internodes and giant leaves. You can see the size of the leaves on this Norway maple. They're not fully hardened, but they're getting pretty close. They won't get a whole lot bigger than this. That's a really nice leaf size for a Norway maple. Instead of letting your tree get pot bound to control the vigor of the tree in spring, try giving it a root pruning. You'll get a better root base, and the tree will come out with less vigor in spring, and then as the roots grow through the summer, it'll gain vigor until fall. So it'll build up lots of energy for next year. It's time now to have a look at our viewers' picks. Today's pictures are sent in by Nicholas from Belgium. He likes to grow succulents. He's got a jade tree that's over 40 years old there. Several other jades that he's got on the way. And he's grown some desert roses from seeds. They had a few troubles with insects at first, but now they're growing really well. Thanks, Nicholas, for sending those in. My bonsai channel has grown from 0 subscribers to over 27,000 in 3 years. So the time I take to answer questions, which I love doing, and responding to viewers' comments and making the videos has increased. I've gone from, answering just a couple of comments here and there, and now I spend 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours a day answering questions and comments. And again, which I love doing, and I think it's an important part of the channel to have comments answered. So because it's taking such a large amount of my time, I'm monetizing my channel, so it helps me offset the cost of the amount of time I spend doing the channel. I can kind of justify getting some money to make the videos and keep the channel active and going. So I hope you understand. You'll have to see a small commercial at the start of each video now. But I think it'll help me out, and hopefully it'll help the channel out too. So that's it for today. Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.